content on the Risk Reward Show is for entertainment purposes only and not to be construed as financial advice. The hosts are idiots. They don't know what they're doing. They just walked in from the street. It wasn't even Wall Street. Investments involve risk, so please consult a qualified professional before making decisions.
Yep, it's a bit of a crazy world, right? What do you think? Is going to happen next in terms of Iran?
Ooh, is this a predictive survey part of the show? We can certainly put it in there. I think the regime's going to fall. And I think I've said that before. I made a prediction. I think that was one of the predictions I made for 2025 in January when we asked what was going to happen. I said, I thought the regime in Iran, you can go back and listen. I said, I think it's going to fall within a couple years. And I think it's going to fall. And I think it's going to fall within maybe a couple months. I hope sooner, but I would not be surprised now. But it's going to take some type of impetus.
All right, what else?
Your football team plays tonight, don't they?
Yeah, the Rams play the Bears. Should be an interesting
That's tomorrow.
game.
That's tomorrow.
Oh, you're right. The 49ers, well, so I'm a fan of both those, 49ers and Rams, but 49ers first, Rams second. So 49ers.
49ers play Seattle.
You're right. Yes, Seattle. Both of those are going to be good games, I think.
Do you see how cold it's going to be in Chicago tomorrow for that game?
No, I didn't. Is it?
Yes, it is. The frozen tundra of Soldier Field will be a dominant feature of the broadcast tomorrow night. But what I want to remind people is, and they're probably listening to this after the game has been played, so we'll see how it turns out. The quarterback for the Rams, Stafford, is that his name?
Matthew Stafford.
He played in Detroit for years, so he's used to playing in cold weather to a certain extent. Even though Detroit had a dome stadium, he's played in Chicago when it's cold weather. So, he's an old veteran at this point. Good quarterback, too. The Rams are slightly favored, but, well, again, like we spoke about a few weeks ago, I'm not going to predict a Bears victory because I don't want to put the kibosh on them. Bad luck in Chicago to talk about your teams winning.
Yeah, you don't want to create a bear market. Get it?
Yes, thank you.
No, thank you.
Well, do you ever think about this? Chicago has the Bears and they have the Bulls. That's not coincident.
Oh, yeah, I did hear that was intentional in some way, but I can't remember what the story was behind that. It was like back in the 50s or something. Bear markets and bull markets.
Something like that.
Like
the Bulls haven't been around so long. I mean, I think since the early 60s or late 50s. I think early 60s. They were an expansion team. They weren't one of the original NBA teams.
It's the same in Detroit. That was intentional that there was one team named the Lions and one team named the Tigers. I can't remember which came first, but they intentionally named the other one after the other large cat in Africa.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess they weren't being very creative back then.
You are a Piston, so that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. So I would like to ask you a question. Where is Somaliland? Do you know anything about Somaliland?
Somaliland? You mean Somalia?
No. I mean Somaliland.
I don't. I've heard the term, but I always thought it was referencing Somalia. Tell me about Somaliland and when you're going to be going there. Take pictures.
No, I won't be going there. I'm in Cape Town, and I don't think anyone would look fondly on me going to Somaliland. Somaliland is a tract in the north of Somalia, which has been independent because they basically fought for their freedom from Somalia and have never been declared a country, but they've been fighting for independence and diplomatic recognition for years. Ethiopia would like to use Somaliland because Somaliland happens to have seaside property on the Red Sea, as it were, or what some might refer to as the Indian Ocean. It is a strategic area. Egypt would not be happy about Ethiopia suddenly having a seaport, but this is where it gets interesting. Israel, last week, recognized Somaliland the first country to do so. There are rumors around that the UAE could do it as well, and other countries might step in and recognize Somaliland too. Now, remember, Somalia is where heaven on earth is, basically, and a place called Mogadishu. Okay? They've had a civil war for a long, long time.
Yeah, yeah.
Americans don't have to be reminded too much about what happened in Mogadishu in the 1990s, the Black Hawk Down. You may remember when President Clinton sent in the peacemakers there, and it turned out to be open season, basically, on the U.S. Military there, in a way, turned into a bloodbath of sorts. But Somaliland and its geographical region have basically been independent in many ways for a handful of years, and they're starting to get recognition now. But Israel was the first country in. Their foreign minister actually visited Somaliland last week, and other countries are considering it. But here's where it gets tricky, as I've basically said. It could lead to open confrontation between Ethiopia and Egypt, who are not the best of friends historically. And this is a place to watch for people. The
Why
Middle
would
East is. Go ahead.
Well, why before you go on to another subject, why would
Mhm.
Israel want to give them diplomatic recognition? And the same for the United Arab. How do
Because
they benefit from it?
Somaliland would be a place where Israel could also conceivably be allowed to put some of their naval capacity at
Okay,
also,
that's what I was wondering. Yeah.
and maybe have a military presence down there, and basically have the ability to have planes down there and a naval force. And the Middle East is never a dull neighborhood. North Africa, northeastern Africa is not a dull neighborhood. You have a lot of players there, a lot of ethnic diversity, cultures, and religions. So
I'm surprised that
while we're
China
paying
isn't doing the same, because that would be a great little pearl on their Belt and Road Initiative, for a port.
correct, except I believe that Somaliland has probably had a lot of influence from the United States. I might be speaking out of my tuchus here. China and Russia are already big players in Africa, in many other places. Mali, Chad, Mozambique down here, Angola has a lot of connections to China. It's an interesting place, and the reason why is because so many resources are available.